my name is Maddie Cook, and today I'm going to talk to you about expanding the Ionia Community Library's genealogical room and relocating it to the back entryway of the library, where there would be more space for materials, services, collection development, as well as space for those with disabilities. The Ionia Community Library is a mid-sized public library located in Ionia, Michigan. Ionia, Michigan is the county seat for Ionia County, and Ionia, Michigan is located about 60 miles between Grand Rapids and Lansing. One of the issues right now is that the Ionia Community Library's genealogical room is very small. According to Ionia Community Library processor Avalon Bennett, it is the third most popular room in the Ionia Community Library. It is behind only the teen and children's rooms, which are very popular due to the amount of programming, collection, and services that are offered for children and teens at the library. If the genealogical room was to be moved to a location where it was more accessible and where there was more room for collections, services, and programming related to genealogy, I believe that this room would become more successful and would have more to offer for patrons and the community. One of the issues right now with the genealogical room is that it is very small. Since the Ionia Community Library is housed in what was formerly the Hall Fowler home, it is basically set up with very tiny little rooms. Right now, the genealogical room is in a sunroom that used to be housed for plants. Technically, it was an atrium. And so if you can imagine, there are 3 shelves, a printer and a copy machine, and a table with 2 computers. That basically takes up all of the space in the room. There's no room for individuals to come in and do research unless they're sitting down at the table. One of the things that really is a pitfall of this design is that there's only room for 3 shelves, 2 of which are built in. On the built-in shelves there is local history and there is family history. The family history items were donated to the Ionia Community Library from individuals who conducted family history research and donated the materials so that others could use them in their research. The other shelf, which is located on the far corner, is general Michigan history. If we were to move the genealogical room from where it is now in the atrium out into the back entryway, there would be a number of benefits. Among these benefits would having its own entryway, as well as being close to the bathroom. It would also have a large table which could accommodate groups and a lot of people doing research. It also has shelving all around the perimeter, which would allow for expansion of materials and collections. And in addition to all of that, there is more space for those with disabilities to be able to come in and access the materials without needing staff assistance. One of the ways that this partnership could go down is if it would involve the Ionia County Genealogical Society as well as the Ionia County Historical Society in the process. As it is now, according to Bennett of the Ionia Community Library, when a patron comes in and asks for certain genealogical or family history materials or even local history documents, they are typically directed to members of the Ionia County Historical Society or the Ionia County Genealogical Society. The current president of the Ionia County Historical Society is Linda Ciangi, and according to Ciangi, one of the pitfalls of this arrangement is that the Ionia County Historical Society is only open on Sundays during the summer from 1 to 4 p.m. So if individuals are interested in looking at family history, they must make arrangements with one of the members of the group, go down to the Ionia Blanchard house, and sort through literally boxes of files that may contain the information needed to conduct their research. According to CNG, it's literally finding a needle in a haystack if someone comes in and wants to find information on so-and-so or a certain business. One of the downfalls of this arrangement is that the Ionia County Historical Society has not cataloged or classified any of the materials. Also, they do not have internet hookup, a computer, a printer, or a scanner. So people who find information at the Ionia County Historical Society are unable to copy the information or have a copy of it to take home. So basically they can come in, they can find the information, but they must mentally store it or write it down if they want to remember it. There's really no way to find the information quickly or easily, and there's no staff on board to make sure that the information is cataloged and preserved in the way that it really ought to be. In addition, for the Ionia County Genealogical Society, according to their research coordinator, Pat Currigan, one of the issues is that the Ionia County Genealogical Society has very few resources of their own. They are generally organized to provide information and resources for individuals looking to conduct their own family history or local history research. This means that they don't really have any materials. Really, all they have are programs and services where people come in and explain how to conduct family history research for those who are interested in doing it themselves. So, if we were to combine the materials, the resources, knowledge, and expertise of both of these groups with the knowledge and experience as well as the space of the Ionia Community Library, we would be able to provide a much greater service to the community. In addition, a library near to the Ionia Community Library is the Portland District Library. The Portland District Library has a very strong historical and genealogy room. One of the benefits of this room is that individuals from across the county are able to come in and find and use materials and sources within the library and to conduct their own family history or local history research. Part of the reason for the success of this program is that the Portland District Library, Friends of the Library Association, has found many materials and has funded a lot of materials and services that have made these programs very successful. Part of the things that this group has done is find a subscription for Ancestry.com that all patrons may use, and they also bring in speakers and programs and events to get people interested in family history and local history research, as well as explain kind of the how-tos to organize, develop, implement, and fully research local history and genealogy. Emulating some of the tasks that are underdone by the Portland District Library, Friends of the Library, the Friends of the Ionia Community Library could do many similar activities with fundraising and development. So a partnership between the Ionia Community Library and the Ionia Community Library Friends of the Library in conjunction with the two local history and genealogy groups could really create an avenue and pave the way for success of these programs that could really develop the implementation of these genealogical and local history searches within the library. With this said, I really believe that the library should develop a system where the genealogical room is moved out of the atrium and into the back entryway. This would allow more space for services, programs, and development, as well as more ways for individuals to get involved, especially those with disabilities who are currently unable to use the genealogical room. In addition, by partnering with local history groups, as well as using the resources and facilities from the Ionia Community Library Friends of the Library, there could be limited staff time and resources used by the Ionia Community Library to implement and develop this program. In conclusion, I would like to stress the importance of accommodating all patrons of the library. By having a genealogical room that is only accessible to certain members of society, patrons may feel that they are being unfairly taken advantage of and that they are unable to use the resources that are part of the library and part of the community. In addition, I believe that it's very important to be able to expand upon popular programs and services within the library. It is clearly evident that individuals are interested in local history and genealogy at the Ionia Community Library, so it would then make sense that the library would implement a greater policy for these procedures to be able to happen successfully within the library. In order to fully understand whether or not this arrangement has been successful, I would recommend that an evaluation form be conducted each quarter within the library. At the last 2 weeks of the quarter, staff should develop and send out little evaluation forms that patrons can fill out regarding the change in genealogy rooms and services within the library. There should be room for comments and information from patrons, and patrons should also be able to give feedback regarding how they feel about services and the implementation of these services. At the same time, staff should also conduct data and research regarding how these services are used and how staff time has been affected by this new arrangement. Then the information should be compiled and presented to the Ionia Community Library Board of Directors, where a decision will then be made regarding how to proceed with keeping the genealogy room or moving it back to the atrium. Obviously, the goal here is to have a successful room that patrons and the staff can enjoy to bring people into the library and develop successful programs and procedures for library individuals. If, however, this does not become a successful program and people do not like the change, then the library should reevaluate the move and should consider what is the best course for the library staff and patrons. Now I'm going to open up the floor to questions. If anyone has a question, please raise your hand and I will call on you. Yes.
How will staff be affected by the change you are proposing?
Staff will definitely be affected by these changes because they will need to move the materials that are currently in the genealogy room into the back entryway, as well as find a space for the materials that are currently there and transition them to another part of the library. So this will require staff time and staff resources, as well as a little bit of creativity about what to do with the resources and how to develop the local history and genealogy collections that currently exist.
If, after 1 year, patrons and staff think the genealogical room upgraded had been unsuccessful, how should they proceed?
It's very possible that this change may not be successful, and in the event that this is not a successful change, I believe that the Ionia Community Library should evaluate its own data and resources, as well as the evaluation forms compiled by patrons, and if it's not successful, they need to consider if it should go back to the atrium, if it should have its own facility, or how to proceed based on feedback and staff time and resources.
Do you have any information regarding the popularity of local history at the Ionia Community Library?
Based on my interview with Avalon Bennett, who is the library clerk and processor for the Ionia Community Library, she has said that the genealogy room is the third most important room in the library, after only the teen room and children's room. This really is pretty important when you consider all of the rooms within the library, the magazine room, adult fiction, nonfiction, research, reference, all of those, come after genealogy. So I think the popularity of the room as it is now, in such a small space with, very few materials and very inaccessible, I think that it will only grow in popularity given more space and resources.
How will this arrangement at the Ionia Community Library benefit the local history and genealogy groups?
I think that local history and genealogy groups will definitely benefit because they will be able to expand upon their resources and what they're able to provide to patrons and their own visitors, and it will also give them a greater standing in the community. So by coming together and exploring how this partnership can benefit them, there are definitely ways that they can advertise their own services, get people involved in events and services, and they can even come in and do their own programming to get people involved in what they're doing around town.
How can the Friends of the Ionia Community Library contribute specifically to this project?
I think that the Ionia Community Library, Friends of the Library, are going to be very important players if this does go into effect. On the one hand, there's going to be a great need for fundraising for things like Ancestry.com subscriptions if they decide to go that route. In addition, they definitely would need to be able to raise awareness about these kind of things and the change going on in the library, and just do any general campaigning for the events. To bring in speakers and to bring in programs does usually cost money, so they can do the fundraising for that, and they could also do the organizing for these events. Definitely over time, based on what patrons are interested in and based on what the library wants, there would be definitely a need to evaluate how the Friends of the Library could assist in this process.
How do you think that Ionia Friends of the Library could get information regarding taking on such a large project?
I definitely think that the Ionia Community Library, Friends of the Library, should contact the Friends of the Portland District Library, since they have already undertaken a very similar project to this one and have all of the necessary tools and resources to continue in this field. And so by talking to the members of the Portland District Library, the members of the Ionia Friends of the Library could get information on different types of people who could do events and different ways to raise money and just different ways to spread the word about all the different programs and services that can be offered by the Ionia Community Library. I want to thank all of you for your questions, and if you have any more, please feel free to contact me at maddiecook@wayne.edu. Thank you.